This is my hog hunting rifle, and I have it because of Christopher Columbus. The Americas have a massive feral hog problem, and it all started with the awesome individual who is Christopher Columbus, who, by the way, never made it to North America, was a lying, awful, stupid rapist who tortured people to death, and was so bad that he was imprisoned for murdering brown people in the 1500s. Do you know how awful you have to be jailed for killing not white people in Europe in the 1500s? That's how awful and terrible he was. He shouldn't have a freaking holiday. This is totally off topic. We're talking about pigs, although Christopher Columbus is a freaking pig, so let's just call it that. Let's rename Columbus Day Pig Day. While Christopher Columbus was the first to introduce hogs to the Americas, aka the Bahamas, Hernando de Soto was the first confirmed individual to introduce hogs to North America, and that's where our problems really start. So why on earth did they have pigs on their boats to begin with? Well, we have to think about it in terms of European warfare of the day. You see, when armies marched through Europe, they would supplement their supply lines through a thing called foraging, which is a really nice way of saying they stole food from the local population. Well, when you're going to a place like North America, which is sparsely populated, and you're gonna murder the population anyway, there's not a whole lot of food to steal. So, boo-hoo for them, they had to bring their own supplemental food. And one of the best supplemental foods were pigs. Pigs grow really big in a very short amount of time, have very few fodder requirements, they eat basically anything, and they reach sexual maturity at 6 months old. So in half a year, you can start having litters and litters and litters of pigs. And if you're gonna slaughter them like the native populations you're headed to anyway, you don't have to worry about inbreeding. And because all the pigs were super inbred, it makes perfect sense that the Arkansas Razorbacks are named what they are. So when the Spanish landed in Florida or Texas or wherever they were landing at the time, they would keep part of their pig population in camp, in corrals, and just feed them and breed them and eat them. The other part of their population, they would release out into the wild and actually drive them forward so that as they moved further and further inland, they would have a consistent source of game and food, because deer apparently don't taste good. Not that the Spanish knew or even cared, but when you introduce a rapidly breeding non-native species into an ecosystem, bad things happen. You see, in the Americas, there are no native pig species. Well, party jorts, what about javelinas? Those are pigs. You know, I thought the exact same thing. Turns out javelinas aren't pigs, which is crazy. I genuinely thought javelinas were pigs. I mean, they look like pigs, they sound like pigs, they trot around, they're a little cute, but they're not. Remember what I said about pigs reaching sexual maturity at 6 months old? Well, that means their population explodes. And now we have pigs in 36 of the 48 contiguous United States. Because of their prevalence all across the United States, pigs are a major game species. But hunting your standard garden variety pig wasn't enough, so in the late 1800s, people brought over the European wild boar, which, for reference, standard pig is this big, a European wild boar is this big. And they crossbred the pigs and the boar. And so now we have giant tusked murder machines running rampant all across the United States. But it's fine. These crossbred giant boar are on hunting preserves. It's all fenced. Fences fail. And guess what? They did fail. And these crazy crossbred murder machines escaped. Most of the fences failed because of floods. Most notably in 1929, there was a flood that wiped out a major section of fence on a Texas hunting preserve. And thousands of pigs escaped, and now they're freaking everywhere. The federal government finally got off their butts and got involved, and they now require regular inspection of the fences of these hunting preserves. So the fences typically stay intact. But now people take these hogs off of the hunting preserves and move them to places that aren't secure, aren't fenced in, and of course the hogs freaking escape. All of the major hog population movement and growth in the past 2 decades has been a direct result of people transporting hogs to places that they were not previously before. And they escape and they blow up in population. Okay, Party George, why do we care about feral hogs? I mean, they've been here since the 1500s, we're still doing fine. The feral hog population continues to grow at an explosive rate. At the time of recording, there are an estimated 6 million feral hogs in North America alone. And those 6 million hogs do an estimated $3.5 billion of damage every single year. They affect farmland because they're rooting animals. You plant crops, feral hogs break down your fences, and they can root up an entire field overnight, losing a farmer an entire crop. That is tens, sometimes hundreds of thousands of dollars in revenue lost overnight. And you know who has to make up the difference? The American taxpayer. Because I haven't been controversial enough this episode, I'm going to be even more controversial and say that I don't think private hog hunting should really be a thing. Now, to be more specific, I don't think that there should be private hunting preserves that people go to and have bag limits on hogs. Like, oh, you pay $200, you can only bag 1 hog or 2 hogs, because we have to maintain our hog population and we have to make sure that they breed and make sure there's enough for people to keep hunting. The goal of federal hog management is complete eradication of these invasive pests. If you want to open up your ranch to hog hunting and charge people hundreds of dollars, awesome, but there should not be a bag limit. You want to send people up in a helicopter to go chase down hogs and shoot them from the sky? Fantastic. Again, no bag limit. Shoot them all. Bacon for days. But we should not be perpetuating the existence of an invasive, damaging species. Human short-sightedness and mismanagement has created this problem, and we have perpetuated this problem for centuries. Like it or not, it is our fault and our problem that we have an invasive, damaging species that has no natural predators. So we have to become its aggressive natural predator. All right, party people, thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, and go kill yourself some hogs.